should be running. Make sure it's on Sportscast Basketball.
I'm gonna drop you in a bucket, Chewy on top. There's only one player that I asked every day. I asked one favor that we oh, okay. For my Yankee nostalgia.
We're only going to have 2 players on the staff. It's going to be Billy Wagner.
Cool.
It's going to be Billy Wagner and Joe Lozano.
Now, what if it's fuck. Trevor May. He will play every game this season. But we gotta like, we should honestly do like, how do you do like good kind of win or good players that we can win with, but it's like straight joke. Gotta get these in again. That's not that's a good player and it's funny. How about gotta get that. Which one of the days that what's the guy that played for did you say that all Yankees? Y'all went to that all Yankees. We just also make fun of Gotta get paid. Gotta get paid. You're talking Boston, babe, or New York, babe? He's the worst one. He's like end of his career, baby.
Who's your manager? Who's your manager?
Not a word.
This is probably the second most dressed up in
I was like dressed in and I didn't want to be dressed in.
No, I even thought
He was done back before we even
I didn't process it until the second he texted me. I was like, you know what? I thought that.
yeah. I mean, it sucks for him, but I'm really down.
Oh, I know.
Oh, they do have a baby guard. Already. We're looking at pool baby.
Hey, what's your name?
This is good. McKenna. Oh, you quit. We just don't forget you.
What are the signals are, this is 90, reset to 90, this is reset to 60. They touch their head, then we stop the shot clock, but in
Between their lineups and our lineups. Eli will say, now for your Lynchburg Hornets. Or Kevin will say. You're going to do their lineup.
Yeah, so,
and then you're going to do our lineup,
say
right?
they take a shot, they use the pipe.
Head coach for Ferrum, McKenna down. And now, for your Lynchburg Hornets. Then you're going to shut the fuck up. She's going to play this week.
That makes sense.
Okay? I'm doing yeah, are you not? Are you not doing intros?
Only when the rest go like this. So
I'm so worried for you to be in. No matter what I can do, you know, you need to do like,
and like sometimes they'll forget to,
like
so like,
Junior from Louisville,
the only time that's kind of different from them.
I Yeah, more than so. He'll do bad, he'll keep going. He'll do bad, and he'll be like, oh, sorry, actually.
on the sideline, and then you'll stop the clock.
So once you say now for your Lynchburg Hornets, he's going to play a video.
Yeah, that's kind of
It'll take 2 minutes. You're going to read it.
Yeah, I got plenty of time.
head down, stop this, or keep that.
Spring is in the air on Schellenberger Field, home to a Lynchburg women's lacrosse squad that carries a trio of trifectas into Tuesday afternoon. 3 straight wins and searching for a 4th. It's ODAC action on LHSN as the Ferrum Panthers trot into town to face the Lynchburg Hornets. Hi everybody, Evan Gates alongside my good friend Joe Brennan. The series is young, Joe, just the 5th iteration going down today, and simply put, Lynchburg has dominated in recent history.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, it's been a very brief history. Of course, as you mentioned, that only 5 meetings between these two squads, but it's really been all Hornets thus far. And Lynchburg has gotten off to an exceptionally strong start to this season, coming off of 3 consecutive wins, 2 on the road in the Sunshine State over spring break, where they had 2 real dominant wins. Meanwhile, the Ferrum Panthers still trying to really find their footing here at the beginning of the year.
Well, both teams have obviously faced some difficult ODAC opponents. If you remember, to begin the year here at home for Lynchburg, they faced CNU and W&L, 2 ranked opponents that have dominated just about everybody they've faced. But as you see with the team stats, this is a matchup that will favor Lynchburg defensively, and you see it in the clear percentage.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt, and especially the goals as well. That kind of sticks out to you for a Lynchburg team where 2 of those games, as you mentioned, were against top 20 teams in Christopher Newport and Washington and Lee, but it's been those other games where they have really just cruised against their matchups. What's really stood out is that game against Virginia Wesleyan, obviously a conference clash. You come out with a big-time victory on your home turf, their only home win this season. So that was a big one. The wheels are starting to go in the right direction. And if you're Ferrum, you're really catching Lynchburg at the wrong time. They're starting to feel hot, but it's a great time to come in, snatch a victory on the road, and really just find a signature win, if you will, here in conference play.
Well, the wrong time might be an understatement. Lynchburg has outscored its last 3 opponents 60-6, which just sounds like video game numbers. This offense has been humming, but it's also the defensive contributors while they have been so successful. Number 24 in the home whites, Meredith Bornholt, going to be someone to watch. And you see it, a first-team All-ODAC selection last year, the reigning ODAC Player of the Week on the defensive side. And she's someone who just anchors this back line, and we can't say enough about number 24.
Yeah, and she had a phenomenal game 2 games ago. That first one over spring break against Warner University, had 3 caused turnovers, 3 ground balls, led the team in each respective category, and that's just what this team has really become accustomed to her doing for them. She is certainly a defensive anchor.
Well, having her as a senior as well in the back is important. There are a lot of veterans on this defense for Lynchburg. They'll try to utilize their services today. And then for Ferrum, you look at some of the newcomers. Joe, you were talking in it before we got things started here. So many different freshmen that have made contributions, but they don't necessarily have a huge number of newcomers. It's the roles they're in. Their starting goalkeeper and the player with the most goals on this squad, Lana Barkovich. 10 goals this season so far, 2 assists in her first 5 games as a Panther, and you understand she's trying to come in and replace a very important contributor from last year. When you look at someone like Willow Cooper, who was an 80-goal scorer, she's off to a good start with her Ferrum career.
Yeah, that's been a tough spot to fill, but she has Dickerson right behind her as well, who was second in goals last season. Checks in with the tied for first points on the team with 9 goals and 4 assists. But Barkovich, I mean, the freshman out of Warrenton, Virginia, has been unbelievable to start the year. She's already had 2 games with 4+ goals, 2 hat tricks in your first 5 games in your collegiate tenure is a great way to kick things off. She is certainly an explosive scorer and someone to keep an eye on. But you mentioned it, it's all about young talent. 5 of their 6 leading scorers on this team are sophomores or freshmen. Only 1 junior sticks out of that pack. So this is a very, very young and developing squad. It's scary to think how good this team could be in the next 2 years.
Well, it's synonymous with first-year head coach Carly Coyle, someone who was an assistant with this program in the past. She enters her first season and a 2-3 start, but you understand the ODAC has some really tough competitors. It's that middle table that's so important to grab, somewhere where Lynchburg has fallen in the last few years. You think about them being the 4 seed going into the ODAC tournament last year. So, Joe, I'll ask you this. For this Ferrum team trying to really fend off this stifling Lynchburg offense and a defense that is a brick wall, what does Ferrum need to do in the first 15 minutes to get that momentum?
Well, I think you really need to have a strong defense today, and Michaela is a big one to really spearhead that defensive effort. The senior out of Montrose, Virginia, has really been that key glue guy, if you will, on the defensive end, and she'll have her hands full today against the Lynchburg squad that has 3 players with double-digit goals already this season. This is an offense that once it finds its rhythm, especially in the first half, they become so much more dangerous as the game goes on. You really don't want to let them get their confidence here in the first 15 minutes. So if you're Ferrum, it's all about coming out, trying to strike first and slow down this attack. You want this to be a half-field kind of game rather than a full field. We saw that when we looked at the clear percentage earlier. This is a Lynchburg team that can really get out of the gates, get the wheels going, and score goals quickly.
If the Hornets make it a track meet, you might be in trouble. The 3-piece on the attacking side for the Hornets is dominant. They have a 3-piece of wins in their last 3 contests. They'll try to make it 4 straight as the Panthers face the Hornets on Shelley. Time to meet the starters as Ferrum takes on Lynchburg in this ODAC contest. For the Panthers, 15 rostered players, and the same 12 are starting game number 6 this season. A lot of consistency. Lana Barkovich, as we mentioned, is one of those attackers up front who can really make life difficult. She's joined up front by Caroline Kelly, Micaiah Dickerson, Faith Fizo, and Maggie Cass. Caroline Moore is in the midfield, Faith Markham, Ashton Bishop, Ashley Font, Michaela Vini, and Michaela Smallwood is on the defensive side. Caden West, the anchor and goal, Joe.
Yeah, and West is at a lot of shots on her this season. In 3 of the 4 games this year where she's played, she's had 3 with 20 or more shots on goal, 2 with 30 or more shots on goal. I mean, she's certainly had her hands full. And it's going to be more of the same here today, so she's certainly going to have a whole lot of action between the pipes.
Well, when you look at goalkeeping numbers, you know it's never just limited to the goalkeeper. It's an entire committee effort with the defense. We'll see if Ferrum fends it off because Lynchburg's attack, as we already mentioned, has a lot of contributors. Sydney Dumas, Margaret Scoggin, and Maya Hossauer up front, Carson Quigley, Neely Morris, McKenna Steinow, and Reagan Bradley in that midfield. Virginia Heffernan, Taylor Doherty, Meredith Warnholt, and Megan Wheeler on the defensive side. Alexis Sen starts in goal, a transfer from West Virginia Wesleyan who has really been impressive to start this year.
Yeah, and Steinau is someone that's really impressed me to start this season. Someone that's so effective with both the right and her left. I mean, you'd think she's ambidextrous the way you watch her play. Really crafty on the inside, has a mean split dodge. She's someone to keep an eye out for today, Evan.
We've seen these attackers in isolation. Dumas, Steinau, Morris, doesn't matter. Lynchburg has the committee to do it. They have the ball in their sticks, and we are underway as the Hornets are on the home whites, moving left to right.
And that'll also be something that's fun to keep an eye on today is just the overall draw controls. Lynchburg's done a great job in that facet this season.
Rifling and stifling. You can't even get a conversation started as Neely Morris creeps and fires, and number 19's on the board.
Well, that was quick. That might be the quickest goal we've had all year. 22 seconds for Neely Morris to find the back netting. Well, you know, we talked about turning this into a track meet and really turning up the volume here early. That gets you your early dosage of it.
You got your typical, 200-meter time with that one. A curve, a straight, and a goal. And Neely Morris, someone who has been so versatile. We've talked about it game after game. A second-team All-ODAC selection last year with 5 hat tricks. And she's on the board early. Joe, we've talked about some of these players that can really impact every stat category. You think about the draw controls, you think about the goals, but Neely Morris is just valuable in the sense that she has such a great feel for the game.
Yeah, and it's also someone that's just the human embodiment of a Swiss Army knife. She can do just a little bit of everything for you. And those I got to stop. They're already coming downfield.
Watch out. Hossauer's coming through.
Very eerily similar possession as last time around. This time, slower down. We can get a full conversation going, which is great. But going back to Morris, when you have somebody that's so versatile, it really just helps every single aspect of your team. And that's what you want, not only just out of one player, but it's something you'd love to have out of everybody. Obviously, you're going to have your specialists with players that are more inclined at shooting and others that are great distributors, but she's someone that can give you a little bit of everything, and that's not uncommon to see on this Hornet squad.
You're starting to see it in the statistical categories this year as Hossauer was trying to head to the net. This shot fired left. The Hornets will keep possession with just north of 40 on the shot clock.
I mean, she looked like she just was not going to be denied right there, trying to split 2 defenders going through traffic.
Well, look at the cutting as well. Hossauer is someone who is really continuing to learn the game. We understand as a sophomore this year, had a lot of opportunities last year. And when the Hornets are scoring at such a high rate, we've mentioned some of those attackers, it's about learning those different positions. Watch out now. Hossauer, the sophomore, swiping it and firing. Shot number 3 on the day, goal number 2 for Lynchburg, and Maya Hossauer adds 1 to the tally.
Upstairs, bar down. Excellent precision from Hossauer. That was a sniper. Oh, my goodness. And it all starts right there with the turnover. That's something that can be so costly. We talked about clear percentages early on, and that's a big reason why it can just be such a swing in momentum. You get your first defensive stop, you get a chance to try and take it the other way and really get your first look at this Lynchburg defense, and once again, it just stays in the Hornets' offensive zone, and they capitalize within seconds.
Well, really a steal and slam if you want to use basketball terms, and our camera hasn't even turned left yet. We're seeing if Ferrum can get a draw control and try to slow down this game, because we know Lynchburg is most dangerous when it is a little roughed up, when it starts getting a little quicker. The Hornets once again going to earn the draw. Hossauer on the far side of the field.
And that just really helps you hold on to momentum and keep the wheels going in the right direction if you're Rafferty and company.
Sydney Dumas hadn't really had a chance yet. Passing around the horn. Hornets with another golden opportunity. Several players who can make it happen. Dumas dishes to Neely Morris. Some dodging and weaving and make it happen. What a shot. Laces the net. And Neely has the 3rd of the day for the Hornets. That's just poetry in motion. There's not enough descriptors to use when she gets the ball in that offensive zone, and so impressive to just have it in isolation.
Yeah, that was great footwork and even better stick work. Just corkscrewing her way inside, able to carve through the defense. And once she just lacerates 2 or 3 defenders, she's right on the doorstep, finished off with an excellent shot. What a start for this Lynchburg offense. 3 goals, 4 shots.
And it's only taken 2 minutes and change. 2 goals for Neely Morris, 1 for Maya Hossauer. Back to the circle we go. And this Ferrum team just trying to catch its breath. We'll see if Micaiah Dickerson can be the first one to earn the draw for the Panthers. This time looked like they had it momentarily. Instead, Reagan Bradley gives chase, and she's heading down the field.
And that's just a great goose right there from Bradley to play it out in front, so she still is in good position for it and really kicked it away from the black jerseys as well. That's a veteran play right there from Bradley.
It's really just keeping it where they ain't. That's the best way to do it. And Lynchburg has so much IQ across the board. Now you can really start to say it's a veteran squad when you see this sophomore turned junior class that has really erupted offensively. You have some seniors on the defensive end that have really made differences as well. And Reagan Bradley, someone that qualifies for that conversation. Neely dishes inside. Hornets quick offense, just trying to rifle it right into the center. This shot off the mark from Sydney Dumas, but second chance impending.
They have really done a great job of both passing and working in isolation today. A lot of off-ball movement. Yeah, you set up open cutters, but you're also just allowing so much confusion to set up that ISO to create an open lane.
Well, look at the confidence as well to stick with some of these plays. You look at the stat categories like ground balls, the hustle stats that add up. Lynchburg has been so efficient, but it's also a product of them just following that game plan in recent games. And when you're winning with it, it starts to build confidence. Steinow, few steps inside, now circling around, another play in isolation. So we thought. Referees will intervene, and the Hornets going to have a golden opportunity here with the free possession.
Yeah, at first that looked like a great defensive slide from the Panthers, but just a little too much contact right there. That could cost them.
Got to watch out now if you're Caden West. Steinow ready to steamroll through, goes downstairs and in, bounces it off the turf, and Lynchburg continues the offensive clinic in the first quarter.
Yeah, that can be so tough for a keeper in that kind of position, especially with how successful Lynchburg has been on those free possession shots this year. Now if you're Ferrum, I mean, you really just need to get it on the other side of the field. We're 3.5 minutes in. It's a 4-0 ball game, and yet to see Ferrum really string together a single offensive possession.
Well, Joe, I feel like you want to really build that energy early in the contest as we take another look at Steinau's goal. Stick on the ground, simple as that. Think about this. 12 players have started every contest, and you have 15 on the roster. Do you think you have to get that offensive swing of things going earlier when you know that third and fourth quarter will take a little more energy out of you, or is it just about trusting the process?
Yeah, I can tell you, especially in a game where Lynchburg's running and gunning like they have in the first 3.5 minutes, that there are going to be some tired legs out there. There's going to be some huffing and puffing when you're playing in 60 degrees, 70 degrees, and sunshine here today. I mean, it is really tough to imagine how you can keep it up all day long.
We'll talk to some of the Hornets, too. Sorry, Joe, but you even think about the fact that Lynchburg was in Florida no more than a week ago, and you have temperatures that are climbing even higher there. That's what the non-conference slate has to be about. It's almost seeing what you don't see in ODAC play and just being ready to read and respond.
And I'll tell you, just from the first game of this season to the last time we were here on Schellenberger to today, you can see drastic improvement. Oof, another great look right there from Morris, all set up by the feed coming behind at X. I mean, it is truly incredible to see that we're 7 games into the season, and this looks like a drastically improved team from 3 games ago and certainly from the beginning of the year.
Well, indicators last year that there were some positives to come is the fact that Lynchburg didn't drop 3 straight games the entire season. We talk about some of the disparities, how only 3 games were decided by single figures, but you know that when you've seen some of those tough losses and you've seen some big wins, you're going to start finding your stride, and Lynchburg wants to be at their best heading right into that ODAC slate because every game's going to matter towards those standings.
And we haven't gotten the chance to talk about it yet because it's been all offense, but also the improvement between the pipes for Lynchburg when you bring in a player like Sen. The sophomore transfer has been excellent. She leads the conference in save percentage. The Hornets certainly missed her there for a couple of games when Quigley had to take the helm in goal for Lynchburg, but Sen has really been a difference maker for the Hornets this season, and you can feel her presence in the crease.
Definitely helps that back wall as shot clock is winding down. The Hornets will have to use some magic. They just slot it all the way to the far side, and Ferrum will take over. Great point about Alexis Sen as well. It relieves Carson Quigley of so many duties as Hossauer just an inch or two over that pipe. But you feel like Carson Quigley is a player who, as a senior, knows her role in that midfield and defensive side. You know that she is a player that can not only make a difference but has the IQ to do so.
Yeah.
When she's in goal, it almost feels like you restrict some of that to the back instead of just letting her play freely.
Yeah, it also feels like you just lose depth at midfield, obviously. I mean, she's such a talented player at midfield, has really come alive this season as we see some physical contact. This one should go against Lynchburg. Yellow card.
Oh, wow. It's going to go against
Wow.
the Panthers. Traffic jam. Sometimes that's tough to measure up. Looks like it's going to be on Ashton Bishop.
But nevertheless, I mean, you mentioned it earlier with the freshmen to sophomores and the sophomores to junior, and this team retained a lot of production from a season ago, and you're already starting to see everybody start to really flourish on this squad. And you've had two really tough games this season against CNU and W&L that didn't necessarily go your way, but those are the kind of battle scars that can really help you build a championship squad. And a conference that's really heavy towards the top in terms of those top two with Roanoke and Washington and Lee, there's certainly a whole lot of room for people to play chaos in there.
Well, you have a great measuring stick when you play them at the beginning of the year as well, because you might see a scoreline that doesn't exactly look pretty, but opportunities left and right. The rest of the schedule, Dumas decides to go right down Main Street and in. Off the free position, the Hornets continue to keep things rolling. High five in this first quarter.
Hot start.
I mean,
Dumas doing Moss.
That's wow. We need to keep creating stuff for Sydney Dumas because it never feels like she has enough superlatives. You go back to last year and what was another all-ODAC performance, and that second team. She had 100 career goals this season, and wow, you can go up and down the storylines. I think it's pretty safe to say she's just a good lacrosse player.
Good lacrosse player and good start here for the Hornets. I mean, if you're Ferrum right now, this is a really tough spot to be in. Down by 5, just about 6 and some change into the affair so far. I mean, you really just a draw control here can really change things for your side. But Lynchburg's been really, really strong in that aspect of the game all season long.
Something has to happen soon, and Ferrum still just trying to find the injection. Once again, Dickerson was on that draw control. It's unsuccessful. Lynchburg takes over again, and they're using some new players in the mix. Hornets have opportunities, trying to capitalize on the window as they go around, searching for the cutters. All the way around. Now corner. Keeps on dishing. The freshman Poitras.
And for how much Lynchburg has held on to this ball, it's incredible. They haven't even sniffed a turnover yet.
It's so difficult because you see the Lynchburg cutting and you understand you can't overcommit defensively or they'll be right by you in some of that isolation. As Strano looks outside to Steinau, still surveying. Great defense this time from Vini. Now the pass to Bradley, breaking through. 3 or 4 defenders were in the area code. Shot high and off the mark. Lynchburg has a second chance.
And they actually have had 1 turnover, which was a shot clock violation. So pardon me.
That is right.
But nevertheless, I mean, we've had 1 turnover in 7.5, 8 minutes.
You'd rather be beating yourself, I think, than letting your opponents do that work. And the Hornets have really controlled every aspect so far. Trying to avoid another shot clock violation. This time they just dish off, and the Panthers will take over. So once again, a nice defensive stand, but Ferrum just trying to find the offensive firepower. So here's a second look at Bradley. Oh, wow. Just didn't have that extra step. That's just poetry. You see plays like that, how it unfolds, and this offense has so many different players that can get it done.
Now you're Ferrum. You got a chance here, but once again, there's our player to watch. It's Bernholt causing the turnover, scooping up the ground ball, and here come the Hornets.
The clear, successful Lynchburg opportunities. Steinow dishing. Oh, she has an opening. The window opened right up. Sunny skies outside. Go and play. McKenna Steinow sends one to the net. Couldn't tell if that was a fake or just how the play unfolded, but a lot of space opening up. And Steinow once again capitalizing.
That felt a little bit like a hidden ball trick. Nobody knew where it was.
Might be swiping 2 bags on that one. And a good-looking shot. There's really not much you can do in goal in that case if you're Caden West. Steinow, someone who missed some time last season. She did reach 50 points during that sophomore campaign and started her first 12 games. Having her in the lineup again just really frees up the offense, but I think it also frees up Sydney Dumas, someone who is really looking to get those golden chances. You think about what's different from last year to this year. I think it's the fact that it has truly been a committee effort up front, and Dumas, though she has had those dominant performances like she's had in the past, hasn't necessarily been solely relied upon for some of that production.
No, you don't need her to. If anything, you want her to become more of a distributor, which she's done really, really well this season. And the numbers might not necessarily be where you'd think they would based on how she's played this year in terms of passing, but we've seen a lot of hockey assists, really, where she has that first move, and then you're seeing those cutters start to flow. She can really orchestrate the offense at times.
She is so shifty. Ferrum trying to find goal number 1, and it's really just been a traffic jam all day. The Hornets once again off and running, and this time it's Jamie Thomas. Great pass down the field, and it's going to be one-on-one. Searching and firing is Doherty, and it is a goal line stand. Looked like it went in momentarily. West able to keep it out.
What a stop. Mano-y-mano, a brick wall between the pipes. I mean, that was excellent.
That's when you can tell. We talk about the fact that goalkeeping is a defensive effort across the entire defense, and it felt like West was confident that time, showing off some of the skill sets, but might be relied upon again as Lynchburg's back in business, and Dumas able to keep patient. What's in the deck of cards now for Lynchburg and Coach Rafferty's squad? It's Carson Quigley going for it, and we will wait to hear the call. Oh, it's going to count. Stick on the ground. The whistle was there momentarily. It blows out, and Lynchburg has a 7th, a touchdown in this first quarter. And the midfielder, Carson Quigley, we talked about her earlier, on the board for her first goal of the contest.
I mean, they're just absolutely pelting her with shots today. They've been all over her like freckles on a redhead.
Oh.
I mean, it has been unbelievable.
Look at the chance, and that's another look at the play earlier, the save, but Carson Quigley able to bounce it right in off the turf. I mean, that was an impressive save, but you think about all the different shots that have been fired at Caden West today, that's probably not the one that you're expecting to be denied. I mean, it was so impressive, and it was on frame, just better work in goal. Different look this time from the draw for Ferrum. Michaela Vini able to capture it for the Panthers, and now the offense is activated.
Now you really got to value this possession. You don't want to rush it and just huck up a shot when you get your first look at it. This, you want to be a little bit more methodical and really try and value it down a touchdown.
Well, when you look at Ferrum's offense so far, it's been some of these passes that have just gone errant and been a little too difficult to manage, as one of the Panthers hitting the turf. Looks like Ferrum is going to be okay. They're going to have an opportunity to lace one up. Ashton Bishop really straight away, and it's going to be the first test for Alexis Sen today, the transfer in goal for Lynchburg. This opportunity really on a line, and Panthers ready to go. They look to go high. Sen denies, and back go the Hornets.
I mean, and that right there is when we talk about the impact that Sen has on the game. A lot of times that's bread and butter. I mean, that's exactly what you want. A beautiful stop right there. Granted, not the most difficult one in the world when you're getting it stick side high.
Oh, wow. West, another save on the other side. Sydney Dumas on the doorstep. So really, the goalie's just going out and putting on a nice display. Hold that thought. Dumas. Great move, really, on a dime to open up some chances, and Lynchburg able to slow things down again. The clear percentage is top 50 in the nation, but you would think the scoring is going to get up there too. They've had several opportunities as Strano right into the basket of West, and this time Ferrum once again just searching for the clear. Steinow searching for maybe another goal.
And once again, another cause turnover on the clear attempt. A great ride from the Hornets.
Lynchburg with time, and the Ferrum defense collapsing, and Strano thought about pulling the trigger. Lynchburg just getting closer and closer. Strano elects to go right back to the freshman Poitras. Now Carson Quigley. You hear some of the calls from the Lynchburg bench. This is when you want to start exploring a little bit and going deep into that playbook. When you have the chances, Dumas was going in isolation, second chance, and it'll be pulled back out.
A whole lot of congestion right there on the inside. Seems like a flag is down.
We'll wait and see, as it looks like Lynchburg's going to have another free position chance. Another look at Alexis Sen's save, and that one's really bread and butter, as you said, going upstairs.
Yeah, the only shot today we've seen from the Panthers. Meanwhile, 12 and counting from Lynchburg.
Shot ensuing. Poitras trying to go over the top, this time denied. Clock still churning, and actually Ferrum's going to take over on this one. So nice defensive stand again. It feels like Ferrum is figuring out how to keep Lynchburg off the board. It's just the other part of the equation that they're struggling to encounter.
Yeah, that seems like the fourth or fifth save that we've had from West here in the first 15. She's starting to really find her rhythm in the crease.
It's great to have those good goalkeeping stats, but as you said earlier, it's really the number of shots you got to pay attention to.
The defensive pressure here is uncanny.
And the goal almost wide open for Isabella Vogel. Hornets pressing one side or the other. And, I mean, Ferrum, it feels like at this chance just trying to catch their breath. Bending but not breaking in that back line. Caroline Moore just harassed and heckled Sydney Dumas. Shifty to get right back where she wants to be. Hornets going to set something else up.
Yeah, you can really wind down the clock right here and take your time with this possession. Certainly in no rush, up by 7.
12 shots on the day for Lynchburg, a team that has seen some crooked numbers in their recent contests. Beat Otterbein 24-2 down in Florida, their second contest in the Sunshine State where they took a pair.
They're just doing such a good job of moving without the ball right now. That's something that's really stood out here in the first quarter.
That's what you have to learn, too, when you're scoring at a high rate. As Steinow denied again by West.
The 6th save from West here in the first quarter. I mean, she has really started off strong.
And it's impressive, too, because when you look at some of these chances, I mean, Lynchburg is getting those quality looks. They're not really forcing a lot. And as we see Steinow right here, they're finding the angles that are wide open. But Steinow is going to head to the sideline, yellow card, and Ferrum has that player-up opportunity. 40 ticks to go here in the first quarter. If you're just joining us, Lynchburg, an offensive explosion, and we've seen it several times this season. Reminiscent of that last time out versus Virginia Wesleyan on Schellenberger Field. Before that pair of games down in Florida.
So a yellow card here on the Hornets. That should roll over until the next quarter. They'll start a man down for the first 20 seconds. However, is releasable, so if Ferrum can net one right here, that changes things.
had the opportunity heading down the field. They're going to have to wait on that far side, and it just feels like precious seconds just keep whispering away. This Panthers team trying to get a hold on the offensive side and slot home that first goal. 10 seconds to do it here in the first quarter.
I feel like you just hold on to it and wind down the first quarter, and then you've got a minute 20 in the second with a man up.
They want a fresh draw up. They'll head to the sideline, down 7, trying to find an answer for this Lynchburg offense that has slotted a touchdown home early. It's been impressive, and it's been everybody on this Hornets team by committee getting it done. And we'll be back for the second quarter here on the Lynchburg Hornets Sports Network.
On my team, I thrive to work as hard as I can. I mean, whatever you do on the field, there's a positive correlation to whatever else you do, be it personal relationships, homework, the way you carry yourself. I've changed since I got to King University. It's really helped me to develop as a leader. I think it's honestly the best thing that's ever happened.
In NCAA Division II, community engagement is an initiative at all 25 national championships because student-athletes want to give back while competing for a national title. Over the course of the year, Division II student-athletes have an opportunity to leave a lasting impression in local communities throughout the country. Whether Division II student-athletes are volunteering at hospitals, schools, after-school care programs, foster homes, or retirement villages, they make a difference in the lives of others. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours.
Being a champion takes more than skill, more than endless drills, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the heart to give it your all, the agility to thrive from any angle, and the relentless drive to be the best. Welcome to Division II, where the pursuit is yours to create, and the question isn't, can you do it? It's will you?
Well, it's not really an elephant in the room. Lynchburg went up early here in this first quarter, 7-0, and Ferrum just trying to find an answer. They'll do so with a player up to begin this second frame, and really a golden opportunity because possession has been one of those question marks here early. Schellenberger Field, the site for women's lacrosse here in this ODAC slate. Lynchburg continuing to find success as Virginia Heffernan looking for the escape route. Now Sydney Dumas. Look at the speed on full display right down the near side. This Lynchburg team has really experienced a lot of success to get things started this year. We mentioned the 5-2 record. Obviously, that's what's shining on paper right now. But as I talked with Coach Mackenzie Rafferty, she said, I just love the consistency so far, the attention to detail, and you look at this game plan. I mean, this team's resilience and the ability to stay locked in are two keys to the castle when you look at this stage of the season, knowing that, okay, the framework is there, the foundation has been laid, now it's just about keeping that production alive on the stat sheet.
Yeah, and it was great to pick up 2 conference wins early on in the season, one here at home, one on the road, obviously, as well. But those 2 games in Florida over spring break are really what impress. Obviously, we talked about the dominant fashion that they did so in, but it's also just the ability to keep composure when, I mean, you're on spring break. Like, you're down south, you're having a good time in Florida. It can be so easy to just mentally check out. But the way that you're able to lock in for 2 games in 3 days and really just perform the way you did, and it's not just one side of the field, it was dominance on both ends that really, really created a big disparity in those 2 contests.
As you said, and that spring break factor, I mean, you're college kids. It's obviously a time of year you want to have fun. Obviously, you wait all year for the season, but it's important to keep the details in mind.
Seems like either way they had a whole lot of fun.
Oh, yes, on and off the field. Michaela Vini goes to the sideline. Yellow card issued. So Lynchburg will just keep this one out. They'll run the offense to its purest form. It has looked very sharp. A lot of the passing and the cutting and the timing have all been on point. And this Hornets team really starting to benefit.
Do you know if they ever did anything fun in Florida? Do you think they went to Disney World or anything?
I don't know. I mean, Lake Wales, we'll have to get up our map, and the geography experts, I'm sure, out there are telling us right now or maybe screaming at us, yeah, it's here. It's wherever.
I want to say it's near Tampa, but I could be so wrong.
Love that part of Florida. You get all the sports teams, at least some of them.
See, I feel like Miami is really the hub of sports down there.
Depends what sport you're watching, I guess. As Steinau moving and grooving right into the middle of the field. Another goal on the scoreboard, and it is just looking simple for this Hornets offense. Once again, just dodging at the right time and firing.
Yeah, what a start it's been for her today in this offense. That's already a hat trick for her here today in the first half. An explosive eruption of offense. 8 goals on 14 shots.
That's efficient. Really can just get into that bread and butter material, and when you're scoring at a high rate, everything else seems to be a little bit easier.
I mean, when you're able to get 6-7 goals in the first quarter and then you come out with another one to open up, I mean, it has been beautiful, and it's been, as we've talked about, the cutting off ball, it's been the precise passing, but also just the ability to finish on these shots. That's not something that everybody can do, especially against a keeper like West, who's had a great outing today. But it's been what we've seen all season with West, where she's just getting pelted with shots.
It's difficult because, as we've touched on, it's so hard to measure a goalkeeper's performance. There's so many different factors that come into whether or not it's been a successful campaign. And for Ferrum, as we've touched on, West has really responded to a lot of these challenges as an acrobatic catch from Steinau. And she's looking to lace another one home. This time pass around the horn. Beautiful offense. And the Hornets fire again. Sydney Dumas just shifty to get to her spot. A little shimmy to get inside. And a glimmer for the Hornets, who are just one away from making it a double-digit lead.
Dumas, don't miss. She has had such a great start today and all season long, and such an efficient scorer. I mean, she had 19 goals on 33 shots coming into this ball game, now making it 2 for 3 on the afternoon.
Let's go back to an earlier point. We talked about Sydney Dumas and the fact, yes, she's had a lot of contributions and not necessarily that sole attacker this year. She doesn't have to be as relied upon. The efficiency and the shot percentage, I think, are rising as a result because she's getting more quality looks, having that offense around her.
You're exactly right. And it's really fun to watch, just how an offense can move so flawlessly, and just it's pretty to watch. Really not giving the Panthers any form of life.
Lynchburg knows its spots as well. You're seeing really the same players in the same positions, and they're just operating really without any mystery. It has been smooth and to the point as the Hornets once again harassed inside. It looked like Poitras drew some contact, and so once again, Lynchburg going to have another opportunity. Really isolating West in goal is not only difficult for a goalkeeper, but the rest of the defense not knowing where the cutters are coming from. Got to watch out for everybody in a white jersey as Lynchburg goes outside. Now Neely Morris, patient, off to Strano.
That wind's starting to pick up here a little bit, Evan. That flag was dead still when we started getting a little bit of movement here.
Also got to start thinking about the sun with daylight savings. You get some of these 5 o'clock start times, and not necessarily a problem yet, but as it continues to set on the left side of the field, makes it a little bit more difficult for those attackers, especially the goalkeeper on the other side. Reagan Bradley, long pass to Neely Morris. Still just trying to find the opening. Ferrum covering a lot of those cutters well, but still not able to keep Lynchburg away as we dwindle down to 10 seconds on the shot clock. Maybe one chance in store.
Great trail check.
That was perfect production from the Panthers, who are looking to go right down that far side. Another example of the clears just being unsuccessful.
Yeah, Lynchburg's doing a really good job of turning them inside, and when you do that, you just run into a whole lot of traffic and congestion. Everybody's right there waiting for you to turn and spin towards the middle of the field.
Feels like it's been that type of day, a waiting room, as Reagan Bradley once again goes straight down to the middle. Ball is loose. Panthers had it. Vini was just trying to hold on for more than 2 seconds. Now Lynchburg still scrambling. This is a great contest. Goes all the way back into the midfield. Right around the restraining line, and now the Hornets trying to lace it up again. Isolation for Hossauer. Oh, wow. That was buttery corn on the cob material for Lynchburg as they have reached 10 in this second quarter.
Corn on the cob. I like that. That's the new celebration. You got to use the stick. Ever seen that? Rather than just throwing it.
Oh, we need to wait for that one. We're going to make some suggestions. Then you can start popping it.
I mean, this is a great day to work on the celebrations if you've got any in your bag.
It's working.
You've been meaning to try out.
That's going to be the next contest. We've got to have somebody just,
I feel like you could rock the sprinkler.
The sprinkler would be nice. We might need one today. I mean, it's like 70-something degrees outside. We've been waiting for it. It's 78 degrees in Lake Wales, Florida, by the way. We touched on that. We had to look up where it is.
Is it outside Tampa?
It's in between Tampa and Orlando. It's right in the middle of the state. So, honestly, if you said it was close to Miami, close to Tampa, close to Georgia, yeah, you're probably right.
I thought you were going to tell me it's like in between Tampa and California.
Well, a lot of places are. You wouldn't be incorrect. Right in the middle of the state. If we have any Florida lovers. Don't think we have any players from Florida on these rosters today. Believe it or not, and you'll have to check me on this, Joe, I don't think there's a single D3 school in Florida. Or perhaps maybe they played the one. Hold that thought. Lace and fire. Lynchburg once again on the board. No long conversations when the Hornets enter the attacking zone, and it is beautiful production. Who else? The Neely Morse.
Yeah, the junior midi out of Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. Keep it on, keep it on. I mean, it just goes with the trend we've seen today. Beautiful execution, and it's them just working so quick. I mean, they're not giving the Panthers any time to breathe today, Evan.
It has been stifling what this offense has been able to do, and really no more descriptors. It is just simple and straightforward as it's going to get. Neely Morris, the newest contributor, at least adding multiple goals to the conversation.
I mean, within the first 2-3 minutes, you already had the inkling that this was going to be Lynchburg's offensive day, and they've proven that. And it feels like there's more to come.
Have to imagine we're just waiting to see who's next. What an impressive display, and especially here at Schellenberger. Got to give a shout out to Ashley Font on the Ferrum team. She is a Floridian.
Okay, there you go.
We had the roster checks going on. Need a research department. We'll get somebody to go in and get all the details.
We could use a little bit more brain power up here in the press box.
We could. We're just here to talk. It's been a good one to talk about if you're a Lynchburg fan, and it goes all the way back to the last few games. And we've touched on the score lines. We've touched on really how much success this team has had. But you think about the number of results from last season that were lopsided one way or the other. I think the Hornets want to level that playing field in the middle of the ODAC conference. And those are the games that are going to be so impressive to see if there's a measuring stick for this Hornets team. Because I think the way they're playing right now, you have to imagine they are a better version of who they were last year. You think about teams like the Bridgewaters and Randolph-Macons. You know, there's so much competition right in the middle, and that's the conversation you at least want to start to dominate, knowing you might have a test at WNL or Roanoke up front.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly where Lynchburg fits in, and there's no reason right now why you could tell anyone that this Lynchburg squad doesn't look like they could finish at the top of that tier. You can hang with the Bridgewaters and the Randolph-Macons of the ODAC, and you can make a deep playoff push and really give yourself a shot to come away with a conference title, because, you know, nothing says that somehow, some way, Roanoke and WNL, both those teams don't necessarily make it to the semifinals or certainly the championship. So there's a great chance that one of those teams gets knocked down and you have a great shot at coming away with a conference title and making an NCAA tournament appearance.
It's timely to say that in March when you got really one of the best sports months. Alexis Sen, by the way, on the save on the other side. Impressive. Pressed into action.
Can we digress real quick? Can you give me your winner for both the men's and the women's bracket?
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, we might be upsetting some people with this one. Let's go South Carolina for the women.
Okay.
Let's go repeat. I like that one. And for the guys, oh, my goodness. I think it's just a war of attrition at this point. I don't want to say Duke because I feel like that's too simple. But I don't know how you can bet against them when you've seen if Cooper Flagg comes back and has two legs to run on.
I'll bet against him.
Oh, we're going to wait on that one.
I'm not a Duke guy.
Hornets add one more to the tally, stick on the ground. And Lynchburg continuing to erupt under 5 minutes left in the second quarter.
What a start. And once again, it's just those set pieces that they've done such a great job on, not only today but all season long.
And it's the fact that it doesn't have to be a shot. We've seen so many times that the Hornets have created these different variations. They've done it really throughout the tenure of Coach Rafferty, but it has looked very seamless. And another one that goes through.
It does feel like we're really starting to get to the peak of this Rafferty era.
Yes.
Like you're starting to see this roster be more and more constructed to the identity that she wants to form here in Lynchburg, and this is a fun team to watch.
Shout out to Coach Rafferty for the fact that you look at this team and the players you're inheriting, and you definitely have a system that can develop, and it really has started to come to fruition. But you can see the trust between Coach Rafferty and then Micah Slacum, the new assistant who was previously a grad assistant for this coaching staff. It just feels like there is a lot of command there from that staff, and when you look at what you want from a culture standpoint, it doesn't always happen in the first few years, but it feels like everybody's starting to get bought in and you understand those expectations this year.
Yeah, without a doubt. And I think, you know, we've seen that across the board regardless of sport. Really creating that culture can oftentimes take more than a season. Granted, we've seen it happen in a season. We saw it happen with women's volleyball here for Lynchburg this year with Cardoza really completely changing the direction of the program. But again, that's out of the ordinary. A lot of times it's not even just players that take that big jump in their sophomore season. It's coaches too.
Yes.
In that second year, you really feel like nothing's brand new.
I love it too because, I mean, nuance is one thing, but it's not a conference to just hang around and try and get your footsteps down. I mean, this is competitive across every sport here in the Old Dominion Athletic Conference, and it is really starting to show up as Vini has an open lane. She's just going to run this one all the way down the field, but you got to watch out for Chastity Corner. Right across the restraining line now, Ferrum has an opportunity.
And I think right there, that's great defense. But a big thing that has separated Lynchburg from Ferrum in this contest is when we've seen defensive possessions on the counter side of that, with Lynchburg with an interception and kind of like a pick six, if you will, they turn that into points so quickly before you can even blink. And right there, you just run out of gas. And we talked about the effect of not necessarily having as deep of a roster when you've got two players on the sideline right now for Ferrum. It can be tough to go the full length of the field like that and stay out in front of everybody.
Absolutely, and that's a brilliant point because some of the freshmen you're bringing in are attackers. They are in there to score, but when you limit it with some of those fatigue factors, it gets a little bit difficult. And we know for first-year head coach Carly Coyle, she definitely wants to build this system and build this roster. It is not the final product in your first season as head coach, as you've mentioned, but it does start to open your eyes to what you need and what type of system you want to run. Shot clock going down. Ferrum's going to have to take a stab at it. Oh, wow. Sin couldn't hold on to this one. First goal of the game for Ferrum. And who else than the freshman? Oh, wow. Lana Barkovich just wrapping around and lacing it home.
Well, there's a reason we talked about her in the open. She's one of their prolific shot makers, and great execution right there. Her 11th goal of the season.
Barkovich has definitely been relied upon heavily when you look at some of those contributions, and she doesn't just get the goals. She is truly a well-rounded player. Ground balls, cause turnovers, draw controls. I mean, it's around the world in terms of that potential. Fauquier High School graduate. Just under 30 ticks to go in the first half. Evan Gates and Joe Brennan taking you through this contest. Maybe one more in store for the Hornets with 10 seconds to go.
Another great defensive stop from Ferrum. Once again, getting a stick in the air and causing the turnover, it's Michaela.
Vini has just been all over this contest. Lynchburg tried to enter the pass. Failed clear, doesn't work out, but Lynchburg unable to capitalize. They do lead 12-1. A very impressive display for the hometown Hornets, doing everything right on 18 shots. They're going to try and keep the tempo rolling into the second half, but we've had a lot of fun so far. We'll have a fresh 30 minutes on the other side, and it's going to be a lot to unpack. This Hornets team trying to find its fourth straight win. We'll be back on the other side.
Wayne State Medical School has been my dream medical school since I was 5. Athletics are important, but so is service, so is research, so is becoming a better person. And we expect you to do well athletically, but don't forget the reason you're here, which is to give back to your community and to get good grades.
Being a champion takes more than talent, more than the perfect pass, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the spirit to always push harder, the ability to overcome any hurdle, and the fire to be the best. Welcome to Division II, where the pursuit is yours to create. And the question isn't, can you do it? It's, will you?
A good citizen is someone who wants to make a positive impact, both in their communities and in the world around them. The Division III approach is absolutely the best approach out there for amateur sport because it wants student athletes to explore all parts of who they are. Be successful in the classroom, be successful in competition, be successful in the community. So our student athletes learn what it means to strive for and attain.
Comprehensive learning is being able to adapt to experiences and apply the things that I learned. Being an athlete and juggling academics helped me grow as a person, and things that I've learned, I was able to apply it in another field, putting them into everyday life. Developing comprehensive learning helped me.
Passion's love. Passion is love for what you do. Because I think when you face challenges, it comes down to how much you want it and how much you love it. Passion is what keeps you going forward. Seeing so many people that were like-minded and so hardworking in their sport and academics, being surrounded by like-minded people makes you want to be more passionate. I think it pushes you to a different level that maybe you didn't think you had, and you can do the best of both worlds and love.
Proportion to me is the lived experience of our Division III student athletes. They balance life from an academic perspective and the rigors of competing at a high level, bonding with teammates and building lifelong friendships. But they also are involved in their communities. They work jobs and internships and volunteer. They've learned to be resilient. Diverse experiences are setting them up for the
Responsibility is being accountable for your words and actions, first and foremost. It also is an obligation to be a positive influence in the communities around you. Being in a D3 program, you're going to have lots of different opportunities. You're not just an athlete, you're also involved in student life. Your academics are extremely important. We give a lot of our student athletes responsibilities right from the start by giving them leadership opportunities, by having them engage in the community, be a positive influence.
I believe sportsmanship is it's a mutual admiration and respect for your fellow competitors. We all go through a lot to reach the point where we compete against one another. It's important to realize that. So once we're finally on the field or on the court or on the starting block, we look at each other as fellow human beings and not just competitors. Being able to
I teach the art of fanology, a job I take seriously. As to the question of nature versus nurture, is a fan born or is a fan made? I know this. Our game can make a fan out of anyone. And at Fandom U, we take it to a whole new level. The NCAA Championships, a 10-day...
We're taking a look at the first half. It was very favorable for the Lynchburg Hornets, getting goals left, right, and down the middle. McKenna Steinow, one of the benefactors from that conversation, who has just really continued to operate, but you could say it about everybody on this Lynchburg team. Neely Morris getting involved, a dish right down Main Street to Hossauer. You look at the highlight reel and it looks so impressive, but it's the fact that Lynchburg has really done it in their last 3 games as well, on a winning streak, trying to get their 4th straight win, and you see it on the scoreboard. Just about every category looking very promising for the hometown Hornets.
Yeah, Lynchburg has been so dominant here in the opening 30 minutes, and a big part of it was that clears that really stood out. Lynchburg 6 for 6, Ferrum just 3 for 10. The Hornets have done a great job of causing turnovers and capitalizing. Meanwhile, Ferrum just really struggling to try and get things going.
Feels like this Lynchburg engine has been humming from the first 20 seconds, where it was a goal from Neely Morris to start what has been a 12-goal run, and they are continuing to keep it going forward. Hornets now with an opportunity. Dumas keeps the rock outside. Call inside the circle, and we will wait to get the corroboration. This stage of the half, it's all about staying patient, but it's also about being disciplined in your approach. And this Lynchburg team, really all 60 minutes, even in these dominant wins or games that they're leading in dominant fashion, they have still stuck to their roots. This time, though, pass denied by Vini. She has been great all game long, the Washington and Lee transfer.
Yeah, Vini's been a stud today. He's really been solid on the defensive end. When Ferrum has got it into their offensive zone, it's really started with her defensive effort.
Well, here's Reagan Bradley off the ricochet, knocking it home. It opens up an interesting question. When Vini is out from the circle, this Ferrum defense has really started to be vulnerable because you lose that anchor, and it feels like Lynchburg is capitalizing.
A single thread is unique.
And once again, you see the cutting and the movement that really create the offensive look right there for the Hornets.
And unite. But we face
Looks so simple when the Hornets get it done. Reagan Bradley, someone who really had a breakout year last year, and we've used that storyline quite often for the senior from Ocean Pines, Maryland, but you're starting to see it on the stat sheet and the goal tally. Also able to get involved with some of the draw controls. Coming into this game, she had 9 of them with her 6 goals and 7 assists. Back to the middle. This time Bradley can't win it for the Hornets as the Panthers are off and running.
Yeah, and Bradley's passing has really, really taken a big leap as of late. 5 assists in those last 2 games. Now the team leader with 7. And that's only just going to continue to grow. We've talked about players like Dumas, who've really stepped up as distributors. I mean, when you have so many talented goal scorers on this team, it's not much of a surprise that those assist numbers are going to climb with it.
Well, it's impressive to see the fact that Lynchburg really didn't need a lot of assists in that first half. I believe they just had 1. But you're really seeing that in isolation or by committee, the Hornets can put up crooked numbers. This time the pass files all the way through, and Bornholt corrals.
And she hasn't had much opportunity to really shine today. But when her number's been called, she has been such a problem for the Ferrum offense, whether it's causing turnovers or scooping up ground balls off the carpet.
Every chance that she gets, she is ready to strike. It's almost like going through an entire obstacle course and realizing there's not a slide to get down because Bornholt is just absolutely a brick wall. And then the Hornets offense by committee has really shown up to the party. The question now, Joe, is what do you think? If you're Coach Rafferty, you've seen several games really turn into lopsided affairs. How do you keep this offense efficient but also exploring other options in the playbook?
I mean, right now you want to say if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Like that's a big thing. And even against those quality teams, and I want to focus more on that W&L game rather than the CNU game because the CNU, you had the environmental factors as you get another look right here on the doorstep. That great save with a kick by West. That CNU game, I mean, you were battling the elements just as much as you were battling yourself and a top 10 team in the captains. With that W&L game, we really saw the flashes of offense that this team can have. It was defensively where they really struggled to kind of slow down W&L, but it seems like everybody in the country also has that issue, so it's not just Lynchburg. And also, you got to go back to that CNU game. You didn't really have Dumas either. I mean, she was out within the first 10 minutes or so. So you're really starting to see what this team can be on both sides of the ball. But offensively, you got to feel amazing about how this season has started. And then, defensively, it's really just been against those top 20 teams where you haven't necessarily been where you want to be at the end of the year. Because even in the Guilford game and the Virginia Wesleyan game, they had a really solid outing.
Well, a team with a great defense as this shot fired with some velocity. Panthers going to have that shot clock winding down. Feels like even with a great defense, you've got to be able to score, and that can really make a season difficult if that's the part of the game that's a struggle. Lynchburg certainly doesn't have that question. It'll just be, can they continue polishing the rest of their game? Some important games coming up for the Hornets, and we're excited to really start to get into the meat of the schedule. Such a quick spring season, really just a couple months and out. But Randolph-Macon, Southern Virginia, and Randolph on the slate for Lynchburg. Oh, wow, shot right on the doorstep. Off the mark, Steinow gathers.
And Evan, what I think is so fascinating is we've done a whole lot of games together this year. And this might be the only team where the offense is really limited to no concerns compared to the defense. I mean, we go back to the fall, you look at the soccer teams, you got guys like Casey and Velasquez, and the whole storyline of that year was, can you just put in a goal or two and score? Same deal with women's soccer. When you had an anchor like Dom, you had so many great playmakers there, and you go to winter and you've got Jonathan Faust and Eli Thomas that can hold down the paint. So it really is interesting to just see that this is a team where offense is not even remotely in the question of concern right now.
That's right. I mean, you're thinking about those soccer seasons, and sometimes you're saying one is enough. That's all we got to do to rifle something off. And this Lynchburg women's lacrosse team is used to putting up big numbers. They're doing it again this season. But it will really just be the question of, can you keep those veterans continuing to operate?
I mean, I don't know what could slow them down at this rate.
I don't either. I mean, unless that monsoon comes back from the first game with CNU.
And opposing coaches are probably saying the same thing. Because what's so tough is you try and say, all right, we'll focus on Dumas, and we'll try and slow her down. And that opens things up for Steinow. That opens things up for Daughtery. I mean, you name it.
So many different options, then you're starting to see it in real time. The Hornets have just been so impressive. No other way to state it. This time, McKenna Steinow once again. It's just the fact, too, that we've said these names for so long. because Dumas and Morris and Steinow came in their freshman year, and this was by no means going to be a team that came in and wanted to win right away. It wasn't truly a rebuild for Lynchburg, but they still got the experience, and now you're seeing really the fruits of that labor. Got to start looking at some of the statistical categories and knowing that sooner or later, this Lynchburg team is going to start entering that conversation. Right now, one of the teams that is in that offensive equation of who has the best one in Division III is Washington and Lee, and then Randolph-Macon, an opponent that Lynchburg will see next time out. The Yellow Jackets are efficient.
And that's really, I think, one of your biggest markers that you've had all season long. Seeing how you can hold on against a Yellow Jacket squad that, you kind of can compare yourself to a little bit and say, this is a marker we can really, really tell where we're at when we've had so many games that are blowouts on both sides of it. That's going to be a real competitive one.
Well, you saw the first few games this season for this women's lacrosse team, and you knew that having some closer contests, you did get to see that side of it. And once you hit ODAC play, as you said, it's no guarantee that you're truly getting some of those games where it feels like it is exactly the same spot in the preseason standings or even those polls at the end of last year. And you got to show up in those moments. You wonder if there's going to be any extra pressure going into that contest because Lynchburg is red hot right now. But you got to handle business against everybody on the schedule. Hornets still probing. 14-1. Well, it's been a beautiful day on Schellenberger. It's really starting to look like spring, some blooms in the trees. It's what you love about the spring season. The longer that it continues to unfold, you see Schellenberger look a lot different in March than it does in May.
Man, I tell you, it's the most underrated season. You get lacrosse, you get goals.
Yeah, we've said that a lot. Liz Poitras has said it a lot, too, in her freshman campaign. Gets her first of the contest. Had her first career hat trick versus Guilford earlier this year, one of the young stars on this roster.
Yeah, the freshman out of Yorktown, Virginia. In another one here today for the Hornets. A quick stick right there on the doorstep.
Just over the top and in. Wearing the number of Peyton Seville, who graduated last year.
You were going to say MJ or LeBron.
That is true. Similar comparisons. 23 is such a great number. Just aesthetically pleasing, too. Maybe it is because of those greats that you're saying, okay, yeah, that's pretty cool to watch.
I'm more of a 24 kind of guy.
Oh, that's a great one, too. There aren't many numbers in the 20s that are truly bad. I think you can find someone good who wore every single number in history of sports. See, for all the traditionalists out there, you think about a sport like college basketball. We got to go back to this March Madness conversation. I mean, there are guys wearing 7, 8, and 9, and if you remember in basketball, it's usually 1 to 5 and then 10 to 14 or 15 rather, and it's so different this year. You got people going out there wearing like 97.
I love it.
Really?
You got a favorite number on a jersey?
It's probably one of the normal numbers,
See,
like 5 or.
I like the doubles. I like a double 0. I'll give
that
you
is nice. I'll give you that one.
Spencer Hawes used to wear that for the Sixers. But yeah, I like the double 0s. I like the double 8s.
See, the numbers on a lacrosse field are different, though. I think, like, if you go out there and you see some of the players in this contest, I mean, even for this Ferrum team, they have some up there in the 80s and 90s. I think that's kind of cool, but it's an outdoor sport.
Still, I mean, I look at Burnhole right now, and I see Kobe Bryant.
Oh. Listen, you can make a case. A lot of athletes out there.
Do you ever have a specific number that you typically went for?
I tried for 5. That was in the basketball days. But then you got, this is like every athlete's pleasure is trying to find a different number for different sports. And then I ended up running track and field, and it didn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter as much there.
You get a bib number, and there you go. Good luck. Hope you like it. Shot clock was winding down. It resets as Lynchburg has a fresh 90 heading the other way. What was your favorite number?
It kind of depended on the sport.
Yeah.
But I was a big 20.
Oh, you know what mine is right now? 16. Lynchburg just hit it. The Hornets in transition, the clear, check, the shot fired, and precision all around.
I think that's goal number 5 today.
Wow. That is just silky smooth. Morris right downtown to Steinow.
How about the replay?
I mean, Neely Morris had an 8-goal game last year. Steinau's starting to climb close. Someone who is putting up some crooked numbers as the two teams will talk things over. 1:12 to go. Do we want to go to break or want to keep it here? It's more time for basketball.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. All right, the numbers conversation. You didn't finish.
I like 20. I like 22.
Okay.
28.
28? It's a little Matt Olson.
Big AP guy, Adrian Peterson.
Oh,
I wore a lot of 29 because
right.
I played corner in football, like Xavier Rhodes.
That's right.
It's a Vikings guy for you.
Oh. See, now you got the wheels turning, trying to figure out the other numbers.
We've got Ethan Morotsky, our director, screaming 22, 22. He's a big Taylor Swift guy.
Yes.
So he liked the song I'm Feeling 22.
19 is one of them from our very own, the photographer, Caroline Gerke. Big Neely Morris fan. Neely Morris wearing 19 for the Hornets.
That's why she wears it, because Caroline Gerke wore 19.
I mean, when you see the pictures that you get, you're thinking, oh, wow. We're wearing whatever Gerke's wearing. Now, let's keep the conversation rolling to something new. You see the travel basketball games where they have 3 numbers. It's like 134.
Like the smush leagues or whatever.
That's I don't know how you fit it on a jersey. It's too much.
Yeah, that's a lot. I don't know. I feel like you want a low number if you're in that situation around a high.
Right.
Maybe
one digit and we're out.
That's wild.
We've got enough athletes. I mean, I could name a lot of athletes at Lynchburg, but that feels like we're being subjective if I just went out and said boom, 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 single-digit Hornets, and that was that.
Okay, we could do this. I'll give you a number.
Okay.
You tell me the Lynchburg athlete that comes to mind.
Oh, goodness. Okay. Sorry in advance if we mess this one up.
Let's start with number 9.
Number 9. Oh, okay. Alora Grokowski.
Okay.
Women's soccer.
That's a great point. See, I think Jana Leak.
Oh, okay. See, this is a thing, too. There are athletes that do multiple sports, and you could have different numbers in those two.
Yeah. I couldn't tell you. I think Spainhour wears 25, maybe for both.
I think she does.
There you go.
That's pretty impressive to get your preference for both as a freshman, because I don't think she's changed her numbers. All right, let's move on. Number 3.
Number 3. I think Pearson Young.
That's right. Number changer from last year. I think she was number 33.
And you know what's interesting about that is Pearson Young originally wore 33.
Yes.
But his dad was the coach of Logan Thomas in high school, the famous Virginia Tech quarterback. It said he grew up a big Logan Thomas fan and always wanted to wear the number 3.
That's pretty cool.
So he got to in his junior year here.
And Logan Thomas is coming back to coach Brookville, I believe.
I
believe
really?
He's going to be either an assistant or a volunteer. I don't know the official title, but he's coming back to town. Lynchburg is a sneaky city when you look at some of the sports teams and some of those athletes that have either originated playing here or even grew up coaching in the area. A lot of great history in different sports. So Hornets have one final chance. This one blocked upstairs, and West will hold on. End of 3 quarters, 16-1. The Hornets lead. They continue sprinting forward, and we have a fresh 15 minutes on the other side. Maybe we'll debate some more numbers and have a fun time. Lynchburg certainly is up 15 in the Hill City.
A single thread is unique. Like each of us, full of purpose and potential. A strand designed to connect, strengthen, and unite. But we face different challenges and have different opportunities. By acknowledging that others may struggle in ways we do not, we can celebrate our differences, embrace each other, and fortify the ties among us. A single thread can fray, yet when it's woven with another, a bond forms. A new strength created by the fabric of the whole. Let's embrace the fabric we make together, the diversity of our threads, to reach beyond ourselves and overcome the impossible. The true power of our game comes from unifying our individual backgrounds, connecting our unique stories, enabling us to be stronger, braver, greater. We can achieve so much more when we are all as one.
What a season! The confetti is gonna fall. There she goes, and she's got it. How sweet is this, and how wonderful for the sport.
Track, we're gonna bring you guys up. Oh, that's all I need. Pepsi post 400, y'all might not get a word out of it. You and Kevin.
A single thread is unique. Like each of us, full of purpose and potential. A strand designed to connect.
Well, we got to
strengthen,
offer our
and unite.
congratulations. The men's indoor track and field team here at Lynchburg placing fourth at the national championships up in Rochester, and it's the first podium finish in program history. Of course, that is the top four programs on the men's and women's side. They did it with just 6 guys, every single one of them scoring and contributing in what was a really fun weekend up in New York. So congrats to the track team. They're looking to keep the success sustained. And ODAC champs, they keep it rolling, and now at the top of the conversation in the national picture, we've had a lot of different contributors from the track team that help out with LHSN, and really have to shout out Michael Ham, knowing that Lynchburg is playing Ferrum, a transfer from the Panthers to the Hornets for this season. He was there up in Rochester, and really just a lot of fun knowing there is a track meet next weekend where the Hornets will be in competition right here at Jack M. Tom's track. So definitely a lot of success across the board from those winter sports. That's really the conclusion of the winter season if you exclude men's volleyball. Has a little bit of a wonky schedule going from January to April.
Yeah, but they're basically all wrapped up too. 4 games left.
That's right.
No more games at home. Turner Gym closed for the rest of the year.
Get your vitamin D. Lynchburg just got another goal on the scoreboard. Not wasting any time, and they have really gotten the offense at a high rate and high production. Who else than Neely Morris?
Yeah, no, but it's such a cool moment to see that track team. And as you mentioned, Michael Ham in the distance medley relay. Really helping the Hornets out. I don't know if he's better at running the scoreboard or running on the track.
Oh, wow. That's a great question. That'll have to be one of the next reels. You got to get them side by side.
Well, he's had quick hands here today.
Quick hands, quick feet.
He's been busy.
The full package.
We can celebrate our differences.
Tell you, it was cold up in Rochester for about 24 hours. It was in the 40s, and then magically, I don't know how it happened, but New York was having 60-degree temperatures in the middle of March.
Yet when it's woven with
blessing in disguise for a lot of those athletes, and then of course they were running inside, and it didn't matter.
Did you go sightseeing at all while you were up there, Evan? Did you see the Niagara Falls?
We didn't. We were at Nazareth University, which is like 1 minute and 12 seconds away from St. John Fisher.
And you know, Nazareth's track and field head coach is a Lynchburg alumni.
That's right.
A guy that ran for the Hornets, was the 2003 Player of the Year.
Mr. Goss, he was actually there in attendance. Great to talk with him, and be able to not only see a part of Lynchburg history, but also somebody who has really taken a program and continued to improve it up north. Nazareth actually visited the men's basketball team. If you go back to the winter season, it was pretty cool because they aren't necessarily competitors on a year-to-year basis.
That was a fun game too. If you remember, that was an overtime game.
That was another tight game the day before. Nazareth took on Randolph in a neutral site game here in Turner Gymnasium.
On campuses nationwide, the NCAA
So many Division
is
III
making
schools, but when you go up
transformative
north,
changes
you
for
take that
student
trek, you
athletes.
realize just
While
how
they
close
pursue
together
their
they are.
biggest dreams, we're
When
launching
you're down
new
here in Virginia,
initiatives
you
to
might
help
have
them.
13, 14,
Life-changing
15 schools in the
education
state, but you're
opportunities are
driving
just the start.
an hour or
The
so for each
NCAA
one.
is providing
Obviously, there are a few
enhanced mental
localities.
health
Think about
services.
Lynchburg and
We're
Randolph.
guaranteeing scholarships and tuition.
Dumas
and
tries to run
expanding
through
access to
contact.
healthcare.
Referees
Visit
intervene once again.
ncaa.org/change to learn more.
Lynchburg ready to fire as just under 12 minutes to go in this contest.
Let me break it down for you.
Another card coming out of the referee's pocket. Once again, it will be on Ferrum's defender. Beanie heads to the box.
We've seen him pull out the last couple of these.
Lynchburg has really just kept it clean, and especially when it's Dumas taking the free position. Ready to go, referee waiting to blow the whistle, and everybody around the circle. She elects to take it out. Hornets will operate offensively.
Nevertheless, man, it's been a great day for some lacrosse outside.
It has been. Sun is out. There have really been a lot of great days this week here in Central Virginia. I think everybody across the state is happy that the groundhog was wrong about the 4 weeks. Or maybe it's not late enough to say that yet, but it certainly feels like spring.
Oh, yeah, it's been fun to both be back out here on Schellenberger and hit the diamonds as well with Moon and Foxfield.
Well, it's such a busy season when you get to the spring, and it feels like there's so many different sports to appreciate, and I think that's what makes it so fun, is that there's something for everybody. Oh, wow, great move from Poitras, who tried to slot it through. Lynchburg unable to capitalize. West able to defend nicely, and now the question of can they move it up the field. This is just a Hail Mary that sails all the way through. The Panthers able to get it through and across the line.
And they just seem a little gassed right now. You've already got one substitution ready to come on, especially when you're a man down. I mean, it can just be so difficult to really keep that energy going.
This Ferrum squad is going to have to face Virginia Wesleyan and Roanoke on the road, so a mini road trip forming here for the Panthers.
That's not an easy one either, especially with Roanoke in the mix. That's a very, very quality team. They'll play W&L in the next couple of days. That's a big-time regular season matchup in the ODAC.
That is. That ultimately decides those regular season standings. If you look at these two teams and assuming that they get through unscathed, it was a great matchup in the ODAC championship last year. W&L beat the Maroons 11-10. W&L has not dropped a conference championship, but won, rather, since 2003. They lost in 09 to Roanoke, and that was the only scratch they have suffered.
And while that doesn't necessarily look like a rivalry, W&L certainly feels like it's a rivalry if that's the only team to give you a blemish.
That's right.
I mean, in your lifetime.
That's impressive. I mean, you go and you think about those two programs, and obviously W&L has sustained success across the board, every single sport, but to see that dominance for that long is just, it's unheard of. Truly a dynasty. This team once again back in that D3 standings. When you look at the top 20,
They've got great players across the board. Claire Horner is someone that really impressed me when she came here. A great passer, one of the best in the conference. But, I mean, they've got a whole lot of playmakers on the general squad.
You look at the end of the year awards and you just see how many they stack up. It is truly impressive as Dumas was soaring to the net. 36 on the shot clock, and looks like Lynchburg has another chance with a free position shot. We'll see if they just pass this one out. This time Dumas heading down Main Street, looking to go around West. Nice work, and the ball is loose.
Great pickup in traffic.
Now the Hornets once again, a fresh shot clock and a chance to slow down. This Lynchburg team has 17 goals, but they've done so on 33 shots. 14 for 14 in the clears department. Backwards and forwards, it has been a committee effort, but you're starting to see what Lynchburg can do. Such a dangerous squad. Neely Morris and McKenna Steinow both have 5 goals.
How many we got from Dumas? 2, 3?
2.
Any dimes in there?
2 goals, no assist on 7 shots, but she does have 3 ground balls as well and 3 caused turnovers. So
wow.
It goes to show. I mean, it's not necessarily going to always show up in one specific stat, but when you have that high number of attackers, I mean, they can do a little bit of everything.
Yeah, and seeing your attackman having 3 caused turnovers really jumps out on the paper.
A lot of those, you have to imagine, have been on clear opportunities where Lynchburg has just denied the Panthers, and they capitalize on slotting them home on the other side of the field. Hornets so impressive to keep things rolling, and this time it's number 27, Isabella Vogel, a freshman from Shrewsbury, Pennsylvania. First career goal earlier this season versus Guilford. She's gotten 2 starts in this campaign, and another reason for optimism for Coach Rafferty's squad. Under 6 minutes to play here in the Hill City. So glad you could join us on LHSN. Evan Gates and Joe Brennan taking you through the final quarter.
Seems like they're having some fun on the sideline now.
They are. They have always seemed to have fun. I think when you look at the creativity and all the different celebrations. Also, if you've attended a game at Lynchburg and you see the national anthem, the team does something pretty cool. All their sticks go in the air, and it's kind of like a wave effect.
Yeah, it's cool.
Ferrum just trying a little bit too quickly to advance to that offensive zone. What's so crazy about the spring, we talked about the temperature starting to rise. If you looked at the trees on a day like today on the right side of your screen, you're probably like, oh, it's maybe 40 degrees.
Yeah, we still haven't gotten those leaves to come back yet.
We haven't.
It's early.
It's getting close.
We got time.
That would be a cool time lapse. It would take a lot of money, and I don't know what camera's sitting there for 2 months.
We can put your phone up there.
Yeah, might need it
You don't need
once
it.
or twice.
We'll get you a flip phone.
That's right.
You ever have a flip phone?
I didn't have a flip phone, but I did. I went a very long time before getting my first real one. I think it was 6th or 7th grade, and it was a Samsung.
Oof.
Now you got kids who are like 4 years old, and they're running around with their iPhones. You're like, how did this happen? I mean, Joe Brennan, I'm 21 years old. I feel like I'm starting to say, well, back in my day or back when I was a kid, because it's so different now.
Man, I had a flip phone.
Ooh.
How do you think I'm feeling now?
Could you text on it? Did you do the manual?
Yeah,
oh, wow.
Yeah, you got to hit it 3 times.
Yep.
Old school, man.
You had the Blackberries, too, which had, like, the full keyboard. They were kind of like
you could play Brick Breaker on there. They had it
Yes.
pre-installed. It's like an Xbox with Uno.
Oh, wow. That's pretty sharp, pretty creative. Another goal for the Panthers. Falls through from Barkovich, her second of the day, and 12th of this 2025 campaign. She answered the call for Ferrum, and as we've touched on, somebody who's really going to try and follow in the footsteps of one of the greatest attackers in program history, Willow Cooper, 80-goal scorer last year, who tallied, get this, 91 points, 94 draw controls, and 50 ground balls. She had the third most points in a career for Ferrum with 241, and then also the most goals in a season by a Panther.
Well, 12 goals through your first 6 games isn't a bad start to your collegiate career. Big shoes to fill, but she started off on the right foot.
It's what's so cool about having all the freshmen on your roster. You just know that there are opportunities that are going to come your way. And once again, I mean, you see it right here, just that stride. If you can get in the right spot, and obviously the scoreline doesn't reflect it today, but Ferrum knows that with a little bit of growth and you keep on bolstering the squad, this is just the first year for head coach Carly Coyle. You can start building something special, especially knowing this team's going to go D2. It's actually one of the benefits of having Coach Coyle is that she was playing at the Division II level, played at UVA Wise, and certainly ready to help with that transition.
Yeah, and as we look down the line for the Hornets, I mean, you got 2 games on the road. Your next 2 matchups, we're coming back here. And that next game is actually going to be Senior Day.
Yes.
With 2 more games following that one here on home, interestingly enough.
Well, there's only 3 more home games for this entire season, and it's March 18th. It's crazy how quickly it goes by, and it is compared to baseball and softball. You obviously have fewer games in the lacrosse schedule. But, wow, time's starting to fly.
Well, it'll be fun as we talked about that Randolph-Macon game. Those are the 4th and 5th teams in the ODAC preseason poll. Randolph-Macon with a slight edge over the Hornets. So playing that one on the road is a great chance to really solidify yourself in that upper echelon of the conference. And you're going into that contest just at the right time. I mean, we talked about it. The last 3 games, 16-3, 20-1, 24-2, and then here today, 18-2. I mean, it has really been a great couple of days for the Hornets. And you can really build off that.
You wonder if anything's going to spill over from last year. Randolph-Macon lost to Lynchburg by 1 goal in the regular season and then went on into the ODAC tournament to really just have a rout in that quarterfinal. At least when you compare it to that first game, it felt like Randolph-Macon was always in front.
Yeah, it was a 14-3 win for the Hornets in regular season and then a 22-8 win for Randolph-Macon in postseason play.
Wow.
So, I mean, it certainly means a little bit extra coming into it.
1 goal disparity in that first time out, 14 the second. Definitely a lot to discover, but Lynchburg has proven that they are ready to go. They're ready to test everybody in the conference as they get it done versus Ferrum in dominant fashion here at home, 18-2. Lynchburg bringing out everybody to open up the picture, and what a day it was for the attackers. Neely Morris with 5 goals. McKenna Steinow adds 5 to the equation, 2 hat tricks, and the multiple goals from Maya Hossauer and Sydney Dumas. The committee gets it done, and Joe, I mean, we sound like a broken record when we talk about the offense, but we really didn't necessarily see the defensive side of things come into the picture because the Hornets just had so many nice clears and they kept it on their side of the field. And so moving forward, when you're looking at this entire team, what needs to be a point of emphasis?
You found the recipe for success. I mean, it's not just great defense in your defensive zone. It's also in your offensive zone. And we saw that today from Dumas and company and that whole offensive group preventing Ferrum from really gaining any momentum. And then also on that defensive edge, I mean, you've seen Sen play great, Bernhold play great. But, I mean, defense is always going to be a team category, not an individual category. So it should be fun to see how this team continues to progress as season goes along. And what they've got in store for us in the next couple of games.
Well, so much fun, and we will reunite on Saturday, March 29th when Randolph goes across town. The Hill City rivalry going down on Senior Day for the Lynchburg women's lacrosse team. That's a 7 o'clock start time. But in the meantime, Randolph-Macon and Southern Virginia road trips for the squad that finds itself now 6-2 to start the 2025 campaign. So big thanks to everybody who joined in. It was a fun contest and a sunny day here in the Hill City. Couldn't ask for better weather as we move into the springtime. So on behalf of our entire LHSN crew and our director, Ethan Morotsky, he is Joe Brennan, and I'm Evan Gates saying so long from the Hill City.
Take a picture.